Kurt's up. He says, hey guys, would it help to publish content to our GMB in the form of posts that talk about the target location or service area, for example, some history of city or top picks for hotels or city or places to visit, etc., with images, etc. You know, I don't know. I've not tested that. To me, if it's not relevant to the actual business products or services of the business, it doesn't really make sense to publish that kind of content. Again, I've not tested with that, Kurt. I can't, would it help to publish content? I don't know. If there's not some logical way to tie that type of a post back to the business, I wouldn't publish it. And it's just because where is the relation to that? Like, I'm not saying it can't be done or that you can test it. I can't imagine it causing any harm. I mean, I don't know. I've not done it. But here's the thing. Okay, guys, for a while, a long time, for several years, you could get results by publishing just straight up geo posts on your money site, which would mean like you just, in a lot of time, like there were plugins out there and also training courses that would teach you how to go out and just publish geo posts that aren't even in the navigation menu. Like they're basically orphaned pages or posts on the site, which means there's not a way to get to them from any navigation item on the page. If you know the pages are there and you can get them crawled, but they're orphaned pages, but they were just straight up posts or pages about geographic or points of interest, et cetera, within a particular geographic area. And for a while that had an effect on maps rankings. But what I found was that over time, Google, I guess, caught on to it or whatever. And if it's not relevant, if there's no logical or if there's no logical connection between the post and the products or services that the business provides, then it doesn't have an effect. At least that's been through my own testing. That's what I have experienced. How do I know this? Well, because I've purchased a bunch of those plugins in the past to test them. One of them was called by WP Amplify. It was called Local Prominence. That was one of them that I bought multiple licenses for. It would integrate with Google's Places API. So it would pull in places from Google Places and optimize with schema and everything. But it would post just straight up geo posts like that were just points of interest. And it worked for about a year. It produced an effect, had an effect on maps, but then it stopped working. Like not just the plugin itself, but like the effect, the results, it wouldn't produce the results. And so I started testing that a lot across some different type of site structures that I've developed. One of them that was actually from a high level template originally, but then I converted it into WordPress. And that's actually the template that I use now still to this day for all of my local sites, which is building geo relevance into city pages or service pages or both. And what I found is that because you're integrating geo relevance data into products, stuff that is related to your products or services that the business provides, that has an effect. But when just publishing straight up geo posts that have points of interest posts that have no relation or tie back to the products or services other than they're published on the same domain, I found that just isn't as effective. Again, this is just through my own testing, guys. Some of you might have a different experience, but I'd found that unless there is a relevant connection between the products, the post that is optimized primarily for points of interest or geo signals, but unless there is a relevant tie back to the products or services of the business, it has no effect. That, again, has been my experience through my own testing over the last year or so, which is why I use the site structure that I use now, because where the posts are primarily talking about the products or services that the company provides, optimized for a particular location, and then we inject geo-relevance into that page, if that makes sense. So as it relates to Google Business posts, the same type, I would assume, without testing, I don't know, but my assumption would be that it's the same type of a thing. If you want to do geo posts on Google Business, remember, you only get 1,500 characters. So you have which is roughly 200 to 225 words. So you got about 200 to 225 words to optimize for a particular point of interest, but somehow relate that back to the products or service that business provides. And then it should be effective. At least that's, again, through my own testing, that's what I've experienced. So hopefully that's clear. Yeah.